Hi, my name is Connell. Today I will be furthering my analysis on reactions versus responding within iText messages. Earlier in the semester, I asked the question, what makes us react versus what makes us respond to text messages? To do this, I employed the concepts InScripts by Jones and Sheffield and frames. InScripts are self-generated, real-time data points without the mediation of a third party. An example of InScripts are text messages, which is what my presentation is about. The other term that I employed were frames, which are dynamic structures of expectations for the production and reception of discourse. I specifically used the speaking acronym focusing on the ends and goals, the ends and keys, which are the goals and tones of an interaction. From my analysis of these concepts within the question, I concluded that how personal, genuine, professional, and formal the conversation is, as well as the dynamic of your relationship and previous interactions, all influences when you react versus respond to text messages. Furthermore, what the response looks like, so uses of capitalization, emojis, and combining reactions with responses is all indexical to the relationship. To further my analysis, I am exploring how reactions and responses are used to say something about your relationship, as well as how they affect your relationship, how they progress or define them. To do this, I use the terms code switching from DeLoyne, as well as performance. Code switching is the idea that language switches, and the idea that when language switches, the course of the interaction changes as well. This can be used to send a message, in this case, a message about the relationship, as well as setting boundaries or making a statement about the person's identity. The idea of language as a performance from Bauman and Briggs is the other concept that I will be using throughout this presentation. I specifically look at the idea that there are 4 points within this performance, them being the setting of the message, orienting the public, the evaluation, so what the audience is receiving, as well as the result, that something changes from the interaction. So again, how does reacting versus responding affect relationships, and how do reactions versus responding define and index relationships? To start off, I interviewed 2 of my friends. I interviewed my roommate Alexa and then my other friend Catherine. To start off, I asked when do you react versus when do you respond in text messages? And Alexa honestly responded that a lot of the times it's just because of her laziness. After I prodded around a bit more, I began to understand that what she means by this is that texting takes a lot of effort for her. When she's texting someone that she doesn't know very well, it stresses her out because her text message implies something about herself as well as the relationship with the person she's communicating with. Whereas when she's texting someone like me, her friend and roommate, there's less stress on what she sends and how she responds to me because I have greater context for who she is and what the boundaries of our relationship are. Catherine supported what Alexa said and also but also provided additional insights on how she reacts to people. She said that when she reacts to someone like her friends, the heart emoji for the heart reaction, for example, that doesn't mean the same as when she's hearting something that her boss is hearting. I look at this concept further into the presentation as well about how the reactions are indexical and other times not. For my first example that I used, this is a thread from my friends I used to do gymnastics with. We did gymnastics with each other for about 10 years, all varying grades and all in different parts of the world. Sam, the very first person, had sent a screenshot of a voicemail that she received from one of our past coaches that didn't make any sense, and we all responded with some comedic commentary. Because this has been a relationship for a long time, there was no relationship change. However, by Sam sending this out, she's igniting some sort of performance, and with the initial haha reaction, that's validating what she is saying and evaluating her performance as a comedy. Furthermore, all of the following responses and reactions and activeness within the group chat support her performance and involve in that way. The second example I chose is are two examples, both from the same person, a woman whose kids I babysit for. On the left-hand side is when I first started babysitting, or a little bit into babysitting, where on the right-hand side is a more recent, after I had been babysitting for a while. On the left-hand side, you can see that our texts are pretty formal, and we're validating each text with a heart emoji. On the right-hand side, they're a little bit more casual, more lengthy, but there's less emoji reaction. I show this because it demonstrates how, as the relationship and boundaries of the relationship change, as does our texting. As we get closer, we tend to text more and move away from the reactions and the validation and acknowledgement. Here's another example. This is between myself and one of my bosses at home. Again, on the left-hand side is an earlier example, whereas on the right-hand side is us preparing for me to come home, and the text we sent each other after Black Friday. On the left-hand side, once again, the texts are very professional, and on the right-hand side, we are texting with a lot of emojis, obviously very close, more like cute text. I included this as well because in each of these, I heart the boss's text message. However, when I send the text message on the left-hand side, I am not doing that in the same way that I am when I am hearting on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, I'm hearting it out of acknowledgement, whereas on the right-hand side, I'm hearting it as an act of love towards my boss. This demonstrates how relationships progress and how the code switching and boundaries of our relationship as well progress. And you can see that through the way we text and respond. This is an example of a text exchange between one of the members of the org that I'm president of. If this was anybody else, I probably wouldn't have responded, but because he had sent the emoji and the extra "so sorry," I felt that I should also, in addition to hearting the message, produce a response, because in him employing the emoji, he's putting on a performance of being extremely apologetic, and I want to validate and reciprocate that, and reassure him that it's okay, and I didn't feel that just simply reacting would be enough. Finally, for my last example, I chose a screenshot between a group chat of my friends and I with Catherine involved in it, and on the right-hand side is myself with one of my bosses, a different boss than the one before. On the left-hand side, Catherine said that she had her midterm, so I wished her luck, and I got a lot of responses in the form of reaction, where on the right-hand side, my boss and I are in communication, and I am the one reacting. I demonstrate this I include this because I think it does a good job of showing how the reactions are not the same for your relationship. On the right-hand side, in fact, I only responded with a laughing emoji to set that clear boundary with my boss about a text that I thought might be a little bit on the line, like walking the line of our relationship. So I just responded for that way, signaling, like not engaging and signaling that boundary. Whereas on the left-hand side, I'm getting lots of fun reactions, which do index our relationship accordingly. Thank you.